Welcome back to Any Last Words. I'm your host, Joe, and this week we're going to be talking about the origin of Freddy Kruger, how he was created, what the inspirations were for it, and yeah, some sadness, I guess. I don't know. I'm really sick this week, so I apologize if I sound like super stuffy and messed up. I may have to stop a couple times to cough. But I already wrote this episode, so I have to do it now. Okay, let's get started, shall we? The great and late Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street was released on November 9th, 1984, a week after I was born, and was met with rave and critical reviews, but ultimately is considered to be one of the greatest horror films ever made, spawning a franchise consisting of 6 sequels, a television series, a crossover with Friday the 13th, a Hotline, a remake of the same name, we won't talk about that, just like Bruno, as well as recent talks of another film in the works, which I'm super excited for because I heard that Robert Englund was going to be a part of it. We'll see what happens. Its first film's cast consisted of Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, Ron Blakely, Robert Englund, and Johnny Depp in his feature film debut. We won't talk about Johnny Depp either right now because there's a whole lot of shit going on in the news. Heard Turdgate. I had to say it once. Freddy Kruger is a demon who kills teens in their dreams in heinous, terrifying ways, all while tossing in a few puns here and there. The movie plot follows 4 teenagers living on Elm Street in a fictitious town in Springwood, Ohio. The evil spirit of a child murderer invades and kills them in their dreams, and they die in reality. Freddy Kruger seeks revenge from the kids whose parents were responsible for his death, because he was a fucking child murderer. His tattered red and green sweater and dirty brown fedora are paired with handcrafted leather gloves complete with rusty blade fingertips. All of this was inspired by real things compiled by Craven, but before you start thinking, oh my god, Joe, are there really dream demons out there? Other than the reoccurring nightmare of Nick Cage's awkward dancing and that horrible ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy I seem to have several times a week, no, there are no such things as dream demons. So where the hell did all this come from? Some things very traumatic and some things horribly unexplained. In a 2008 interview with Cinema Fantastique, Craven explained that he wanted something different than he had done before. He said, "I wanted to do something that was tied into the deepest recesses of our subconscious. I had a history in academics, so I knew there were certain things that were universal." An academic with a master's from Johns Hopkins University, Craven decided there is no greater time than psychological peace in a human's existence than during sleep. Ruining the comfort of the subconscious, he thought, would be the most horrifying thing possible, and I agree. And then Craven read a series of curious newspaper reports from the New York and LA Times that was happening to Asian men all over the country. In 1981, news of a medical mystery began with reports of a few dozen people who unexpectedly died in their sleep for unknown reasons. The men were young, healthy, and curiously enough, all of Asian descent. Papers dubbed the phenomenon as Asian death syndrome, as most of the people affected were of Southeast Asian descent residing in the U.S. The condition went to become known as sudden unexplained death syndrome, or Brugada syndrome. I probably said that wrong because I say a lot of things wrong, but that's what it looks like. There are many other stories of people dying in their sleep in the U.S. in the late 70s, and the numbers reached around 100 deaths by the time of the film's release. The victims would suddenly scream in their sleep, and then they would die. The CDC has run several studies of this medical mystery, but there's not much known about this strange phenomenon, other than these men had some kind of strange heart malfunction that it may have been caused by severe stress after coming to America from war-torn countries. Craven stated in an article for Vulture, "I had read in an article in the LA Times about a family who had escaped the killing fields in Cambodia and managed to get to the US. Things were fine, and then suddenly the young son was having very disturbing nightmares. He told his parents he was afraid that if he slept, the things chasing him would get him. So he tried to stay awake for days at a time. When he finally fell asleep, his parents thought the crisis was over. Then they heard screaming in the middle of the night. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of a nightmare. Here was a youngster having a vision of a horror that everyone older was denying. That became the central line of A Nightmare on Elm Street. With these mysterious deaths and a few other creepy things tossed in the pot, Craven created the ultimate horror villain. On A Nightmare on Elm Street's DVD documentary, Wes Craven explains how he merged these unfortunate cases with his own life experiences to create the villain Freddy Kruger. He said that as a boy, he was bullied at school by a boy named Fred Kruger, so the name was simply applied. The effects of the boy clearly stuck with Craven, as the villain in his earlier film, The Last House on the Left, was also named Krug. As it is, the character of Kruger is a testament to the long-lasting, detrimental effects of bullying one can have on a child. That sucks. Freddy's hat was pulled from Craven's own past. He recounts, "The hat was the kind worn by men when I was a kid, and there was a particular man who scared me when I was little. He was a drunk that came down the sidewalk and woke me up when I was sleeping." That's fucking no. That is no. Anyway, I went to the window wondering what the hell was there. He just did a mindfuck on me. He just basically somehow knew I was up there, and he looked right into my eyes. I went back and hid for what I thought was hours. I finally crept back to the window, and he was still there. Double hell no. Anyway, then he started walking almost half backwards so that he could keep looking at me down the corner and turned, and I suddenly realized, oh my God, that's the direction of the entrance of our apartment building. This just keeps coming into no-nos. I literally ran towards the front door and heard 2 stories down the front door open. I woke up my big brother. He went down with a baseball bat and nobody was there. Oh my God. Okay. Probably the guy heard him coming and ran. He was drunk, having a good time. But the idea of an adult who was frightening and enjoying terrifying children was the origin of Freddy. Fuck all that and a bag of chips. No. That's fucked up. I don't care who you are. That's fucked up. He also said that nature is full of stabbing instruments, claws, teeth, horns. I thought the claws of a cave bear must be buried somewhere in our subconscious. So that claw, which is from nature or animals, was combined with what is one of the most specifically human parts of our anatomy, which is our hands. The human hand is so much more dexterous than any other animal's. Many scientists postulate that has gone hat in hand, if you will, with the development of our brains. The more developed our brains have gotten, the more clever our hands have gotten, and vice versa. So that became the instrument. Rather than anything he would leave someplace and then pick it up. It was something that he actually had on him. Kruger's sweater was based on DC's Plastic Man. The character could change shape, but always knew it was him because the pattern of his clothing would be visible on whatever form he took. Kruger is the same way, the shapeshifter recognizable by his color patterns. Now, the sweater's coloring was the result of a 1982 Scientific American article which found 2 most abrasively clashing colors to the human retina are red and green. The result of a villain masked beneath scars and burns, with a believable murder weapon any man could fashion. A killer capable of taunting and teasing his victims in a realistic human way, but who kills in a sensible manner that wrecks even the most impenetrable security of one's own mind. And that's how we got Freddy Kruger. A mix of tragedy, trauma, and science all rolled into one to create a super demon. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below. And don't forget to slash that like and subscribe button so you never miss another episode of Any Last Words. I'll see you guys next week. And till then, I hope you have nightmares about me. Mwah. Oh my God, I feel like poop. Oh, fuck. I just wish a dream demon would just end me right now, because I feel like shit. Maybe this is a nightmare. I don't know. Where's my coffee? Oh, it's cold. This is a fucking nightmare.